Thanks for being with us. TVA leadership considering a move to close Bull Run fossil plant near Oak Ridge.
It is one of two coal-fired plants eyed for closure by the utility. Now the other, in the number 3 unit at its plant in Paradise, Kentucky, where 2 generating units have already been shut down.
The idea here drawing criticism from the White House. President Donald Trump tweeting Monday, quote, "Coal is an important part of our electricity generation mix," going on to say that TVA should, quote, "give serious consideration to all factors before voting to close viable power plants like Paradise Number in Kentucky."
TVA responding, "Mr. President, coal is an important part of TVA's power generation mix, and we will give serious consideration to all factors as we make this decision." And our top story tonight, the local impact of this potential move. WATE 6 on your side reporter Blake Stevens joining us now live from Bull Run. So Blake, what are you hearing from the community there?
Well, I'm hearing a lot of interest. A lot of folks will be watching this meeting tomorrow closely as the fate of this plant behind me could be decided tomorrow. You know, one man even called that plant a fixture on this end of the county. And at the very least, if this place closes, many out here telling me they hope that this plant will at least be a backup site for TVA. Or if that's not an option, others wanting this area to be developed and lead to more jobs. And good news, a TVA spokesperson telling me if this were to be closed, county and city officials in this area interested in buying the land and developing it in the future. But for now, it's really just wait and see what happens.
This plant, serving hundreds of thousands of families by keeping the lights on over the years, and serving Joe Hensley by giving him a job.
Years ago, that was the most efficient plant in the TVA system. In fact, at one time, it was the most efficient plant in the world. So it's hard for me to imagine now that it's not an efficient.
Hensley retired from Bull Run in 1994 after 25 years of maintaining the equipment here. Every time he looks off his front porch, he's reminded of the hard work and the good friends he made there. He says he can't help but be a little sentimental with the idea it could be closing.
You have to weigh whether or not you continue pouring money into an asset that's not performing versus putting money into other assets that are performing well. And by performing, we're not necessarily talking about how often they come online or trip offline. We also have to consider things such as the ability of an asset to follow the load.
This is what spokesperson Scott Brooks is talking about. On a winter morning, between cranking up the heat and running appliances, TVA's power grid often experiences a peak load. On a beautiful spring day, the grid could experience a dip in usage.
More and more often, TVA is having to follow loads where the demand actually goes up and down. And coal units like Bull Run have a hard time coming online and coming back down. You can't run a coal unit very often at 50% because it's meant to run at 100%.
You can't go up and down with that unit. And once it's off the line, you can't put it back on as quickly as you can some of the smaller units.
Hensley saw those inefficiencies years ago, but it doesn't make saying goodbye to the plant any easier.
Yeah, it served a lot of people and served them well.
Brooks telling me more than 100 people work behind me. He says 40% of them, though, are eligible for retirement. If this plant is closed, Brooks says TVA would work with those employees affected to try to get them work elsewhere and even work with local unions. You know, while this plant was the largest of its kind when it was built, it's now one of 6 coal facilities in the TVA family. And guys, coal making up 20% of TVA's total power grid today. So with all of those other tools in the tool belt, such as nuclear power and hydropower, folks don't need to worry about a lapse in service. Reporting live in Anderson County, Blake Stevens, WATE 6 on your side.
All right, Blake, thank you so much. Well, TVA recently closing 2 other Tennessee coal plants, one in Upper East Tennessee, another in Memphis. A spokesperson saying in those instances, TVA worked diligently to make land available for redevelopment.
TVA held a public listening session on these closures today in Chattanooga ahead of tomorrow's quarterly board meeting. We will be following that meeting and find out what TVA leadership does decide.